Rapid load, rapid load.
Read from the Constitution. They never look to their forefathers for advice. They barely quote them as is. All this is nothing but a bunch of self-righteous people. The War of 1812 battle flag that we have currently in our possession to pay homage.
Way of not only maintaining a good relationship with his family, but he also did this through having a great relationship with the Lord. And I think
the importance of how we must interpret this document. So let's dive right into it.
Regina Barnes, New Hampshire muckraker. Barneston, New Hampshire. This is the third notice, but we're also putting formal charges in, okay, for democide, genocide, sedition, treason.
Have you seen that? Now, Act Blue goes towards not only the politicians, but the NAACP. Okay? It also goes towards socialistic Bernie Sanders. It also goes towards Joe Biden. It also goes back to Hollywood liberal elites. In return, they bail out the Black Lives Matter protesters. So it's one big, giant, huge pyramid scheme, if you ask me.
And that's a real concern, because like I said, everything is heavily influenced by China and by the other communist regimes in all countries. Every byproduct and every solution has been nothing.
A quick video. We are at the police rally down in Wall Township to back the blue, to support the men and women, first responders.
Minister, the library is doing our flag wave. Bunch of awesome patriots out here today.
What's going on, America? This is Relentless Patriot Frank with another episode of the Relentless Patriots. So a lot of you guys know about the war, quote-unquote, already between Palestine and Israel. But it's also the same war that's been going on for how many decades now? I mean, how long has Fox News and CNN been bantering back and forth about the same issues when it comes to the Middle East? Forever. Because that's how long this garbage has been going on for. And I don't know how many times I got to say it to all of you at this point, but it's not pick or side. It's join or die. Join or die. Now, what do I mean by join or die? Join or die with your country. Join or die with America. Join or die with we the people versus the political tyranny that has been placed upon us. That's what join or die is. And that's what we have to understand right now. We have to come together as a people, stop with this bickering and bantering back and forth about two countries who can give a crap less about us, and start coming together against the enemy, the true enemy, which is our government, people. Our government is the enemy. Enough with supporting Israel. Enough with supporting Ukraine or Russia or freaking any other country that has anything to do with nothing. These people are nothing more than paid off shills. Didn't you guys see all the stories about George Soros funding all these countries? Didn't you see the amount of government, pensions that went out? The amount of outsourcing. How are you not enraged at this point that your tax rates are 30 to 40, even 50% for some of you, and most of your salaries are capped and gone and given to these cretins? You see, the difference is with what I talk about versus anybody else is getting all the people together so that we have a shot, Because we are the last stand, whether you think so or not. We are the last stand against the enemy. The New World Order is moving as we speak. They're passing bills at midnight. You know what I mean? And that's exactly right. Let the countries fight over each other. We shouldn't have to be in, exactly, we shouldn't have to been in any war prior to this. I'm going to read this, some of these quotations here from the Sons of Liberty Manifesto. If you don't have a copy, I advise you get one. Maybe it'll re-spark some patriotism within all of you. But, guys, tyranny is not approaching. It's already upon us. There are no arguments. There's no more arguments about it. It's we the people versus the rest of the world. The evil tyrannical elites and what they're planning to do to us. You know, enough with these wars and these psyops and these distractions, because that's all this is. That's all this is, and I wish people would get their heads out of their asses and wake up to the actual truth of the New World Order. Because, like it or not, they create these wars. They want all of us to suffer. They're not just coming after certain people. They're coming after all of us. You know? I'm going to read here. This is a quotation from Thomas Jefferson. And let me know if this doesn't ring a bell to you. Timid men prefer the calm of despotism to the tempestuous sea of liberty. They prefer comfort, guys. The majority of these people don't want to do anything for anyone. You know, and first of all, I want to just digress real quick and give a quick shout out to Owen Schroyer of InfoWars. Brother, our hearts are with you. You stood up against the enemy. You said what you had to say. You were brave about it. And it's completely wrong what they're doing to you in terms of incarcerating you for 60 to 90 days and even trying to stop people from going into the Capitol building on January 6th. So our hearts go out to you and InfoWars. And I'm very sorry that this happened to you and this terrible injustice as well to the 250 plus prisoners that are still being held in federal prisons in Washington. But anyway, Thomas Jefferson goes on to say this. And, well, actually, this is actually based off of what he said. Sorry. This is the difference between the wolf and the sheep. Okay? As with any struggle, the warrior must know his enemy if he wishes to defend against him. Concerning the struggle for the preservation of liberty, the beast we face has the head of the state, but it's supported from the neck down by society at large. And that's also true, guys. The head may control the body, but the body contains within it all the necessary organs for the head to function, such as the dynamic social order. In regard to the state, its inclination to tyranny is no real mystery, for is it not the function of the head to control the body? As such, the state exists to perform this function, to tyrannize over the body. One might question whether the picture I paint of the relationship between the state and society is accurate. One might hypothesize that a society could function without a state. I would caution against such lofty ideas and theories of statelessness and anarchy. I don't agree with their logic or value, but such ideas seem to leave the existence of power from their equations. And this is by the way, this is by Tanner Cook, diehard patriot. I love his book. I'm going to continue to read here. It is from this power that states are born. Power is an intrinsic element within the social landscape. It cannot be excised. The thought of removing the state is no different than suggesting that one can successfully and to great healthy benefit decapitate its own society. So he's saying, well, we can't really remove most of what is bothering us or enslaving us. But what we can do is reform it, reshape it the same way Thomas Jefferson wanted us to. You know, because, look, the majority of society are nothing but a bunch of sheep. You know? So we need a little bit of structure in order for this country to operate. We know this. But the tax system has to go, or it has to be revamped completely. These political parties, this uniparty, these tyrannical dictating son of a bitches, they all need to go. Or at least learn their lesson that they work for us. Next, exactly right. Blue Collar Troll, good to see you. Yes, I want my country back too. I want my country back too. So what are we patriots going to do about it? Are we going to continue to think about how voting is going to help us? Is that what you guys want? Because voting isn't going to fix this this society that we have currently. It's not going to fix this country. It's not going to fix our laws. There's already too many in the books. The courts are rigged. The New World Order is pushing their disgusting vaccinations upon we the people. They're making everything mandatory, and it's outright disgusting. And, you know, while we're on the subject of tyranny, it's our jobs, regardless, whether we like it or not, whether we think so or not, it is our jobs to wake up the people. It is our jobs to stand up. It is our jobs. You know, where have all the good men gone? I'll tell you where they've gone. They're right here. They're right here. And I know you guys feel the same way. It is upsetting. It is outrageous that they're trying to silence all of us. But guess what? If we all stand up together, if we all speak out, if we all go live, if we all do and continuously do what we're doing this whole entire time, if we're trying to wake up the masses and say no to the next vaccine, to say no to the next lockdown, to say no to the next tyrannical structure that they're going to try to do to us or impose on us, then that's where the good men belong. So I'm giving you guys something to think about here. You know, would you rather have comfort or would you rather have danger? But a danger that's going to free us all. Would you rather be on the couch and just watch the Super Bowl day in and day out? Or would you rather fight for liberty and freedom? See, me personally, I already know about all the distractions that they do to us. And I'm pretty sure you do too. But what we cannot let them distract us from are the facts. And the facts are, they are going to try to destroy us by 2030 with this depopulation agenda. And I'm getting tired of trying to remind people what it is that they need to stand up for. Remind yourselves, guys, please, by all means, keep reminding yourself day in and day out. For those of you that have had conversations with me on the side about all this stuff, it really is time to stand against these corrupt assholes. And I said countless times, stand up for what you believe in. Don't accept all this garbage, all this nonsense that they constantly cram down our throat, all these proxy wars and these psyops and these disgusting things. What do you think at the end of the day supporting Israel is going to do for you? Or Palestine or anything like that? You think they give a damn? They just want our tax money, people. They just want our rockets. They want our firearms, so that way they can just continue their war back and forth. You think Israel actually wants to stop this war? Please. They've been doing it for decades. You know? Every single war-torn country that we've ever supported doesn't care about the people the way the people in this country care about its own. And you got to remember that, and you got to realize that, and you got to push hard against Fox and CNN and all these mainstream media warmongers, because that's what they do. All they are is simply another branch of the New World Order poisonous freaking plant. And we have to unroot this plant, period. And the best way we're going to do it, guys, 1, always be open to information. 2, study American history like crazy, like I do, like everyone else does. 3, always read from constitutional readings and books. And 4, get your asses off your couches and go sign affidavits in your local county. The more you sign affidavits to secede or to have a re-declaration of independence the way we're doing here in New Jersey, the better off you all are going to do independently as sovereign states against the federal corporations of this country. Because that's what we need right now, people. We can't just keep sitting down and pretending that Trump's going to come back and fix everything, because that's delusional. And for you guys to put that much trust into one person, regardless of his notions, it's wrong. America is first. The same way other people feel so strongly about their countries being first. Ukrainians want their country to be first. Russia wants their country to be first. I mean, hell, even Palestine wants their country to be first. And what about everybody here? Would you like to have nothing at the end of the day? Because if you do, just simply donate everything that you have to one of these war-torn countries. I'm sure they'll appreciate it for 5 seconds. But after that, now what are you left with? You keep emptying your wallets for people that you don't know. For people that you'll never see or never meet. Now, is there such a thing as charity? Sure. Sure. But how much charity have we not done here for our own? How much, guys? Do you know already? Do you know how much we've already lost here? Billions to trillions of dollars to the war machine? And nothing to our homeless veterans or people on the street? Whether it be New York City all the way to LA and San Francisco? I mean, how much more would you like taken from you? Our rights are gone. The way we can express ourselves are gone. Or at least they're on the way out anyway. They're passing laws pretty soon that will incarcerate you if you dare speak out against any of this crap. And don't be surprised if the same Jewish Marxist nonsense comes to a theater near you where you can't even speak out or speak your mind against anything to do with Israel. Anything to do with the mainstream media, or labeling people tyrants if they're Jewish or whatever it may be from Europe, you know, the Ashkenazi and the Khazarian mafias of the world. Heaven forbid you actually speak the truth and you're not afraid to. So, I mean, again, guys, is this what you want for yourselves? Because I'm getting blatantly tired of all the excuse making a lot of these conservatives have been making. It really fires me up. And all they want to do is just nothing. Absolutely nothing. Oh, but we have to help them, otherwise Hamas will never be destroyed. Well, we've been helping Israel for how long? Think, people. How long have we been helping out these morons for? Has Israel ever been gracious enough to actually extinguish these morons for 30 years? No. Because they're the ones who created them. They want an ongoing war to keep their economy going. To keep enslaving people there. Remember, Israel was the first state, whether you like it or not, and I don't care, to force the mandated vaccines, to make everyone wear masks, and pretty soon, when this microchip becomes public, mark my words, they also will be the first country to give it to their people. Aside from Sweden. Because they're already testing the prototypes as we speak. Now, if you're tired of this stuff, then do something. Do something. Because, you know, me and the Relentless Patriots, we have done everything in our power. We've rallied. We've signed affidavits. We've went against our own government. We went to every single protest that we could against the mandated vaccinations. We've tried. And we're not going to stop trying. And we're not going to stop fighting. And neither should you. So, again, I say to you guys, what do you want for your country? You know? Here's another reading. The struggle for liberty under the heel of tyrants is a political struggle. That is to say, an unresolved conflict. Political solutions are defined by their coercive enforcement, meaning the medium of politics is violence. The libertarian desires something the tyrant has no intention of granting, and the libertarian has no inclination to submit. This conflict can only be resolved through the use of force. This isn't to say that the words are ineffective. The Sons of Liberty themselves spread their message and insurrection through the written word. But words alone are simply not enough. The message of liberty has been in writing since mankind could write. Yet here we are. Much has been said concerning the value of freedom, so much so that there remains nothing new to say about it. The greatest minds of philosophy, history, economics, and poetry have all urged the human race to put down their claims to power and embrace voluntary cooperation to live and let live. Yet here we are again. Now, guys, I want you to pay attention very closely to this next paragraph. The decision to face the forces of tyranny is not one that should be taken lightly. The institution of the state is a powerful apparatus, so much so that it may not even need to lift a finger to crush you. Remember, the state is merely the head of the body, and the body may very well act against your resistance even before the head moves to notice you. But we are not the first to consider this decision. There have been many before us. Some have found their way into legend. Others have been stamped out and will never be known, but they exist nonetheless. So no matter what, keep fighting. No matter what they do to you. No matter how many times they want to silence you. No matter what's in it for them versus what's in it for us. We already know what's at stake, people. Our freedoms, our liberties, our sovereignty in this country alone are always at stake. So you have to remember this every time you fight. Otherwise, what are you doing? Just wasting everyone else's time and your own. In order to be a patriot, this is what's required, guys. This is what's required. You got to stay relentless. You can't give up. You know, this, and it's very basic. It's very basic jargon to understand. What our forefathers went through and what they continue to go through for 20 to 30 years, even after the Revolutionary War was won. They didn't give up. They wrote more laws, more amendments, the Bill of Rights. They upheld the Constitution when they established their court systems. And what I love most importantly about what they did was they called out the damn turncoats. They arrested people, threw them in jail, or even worse, if you know what I mean. So you have to remember, that's what's also needed here. And that's what I can't understand. We got so far away from the Constitution to the point where you can't even recognize this country or its rights. Doesn't it feel to you still that you live in a foreign nation where there's no principles, values, or morals, or integrity? Where the government just continuously does what it wants? It plays Big Brother. It has to be the policeman of the world. For what? For more power, for more land, for more oil supply? Let's really think about this logically. Why do we actually really want to support Israel? Why do we want to go to Syria? Why do we want to go to Palestine? Or anywhere else? Oh, because the land is so rich with resources that America just has to have it. No, we don't. And for those that weren't paying attention while Trump was in office, clearly he's shown all of you that we could be just as wealthy by being independent. Being independent of the obvious. The war machine. The European Jew. The Ashkenazi and Khazarian. And I do not care what you have to say. You can call me an anti-Semite, but I'm going to call a spade right now. Who controls the mainstream media? Who controls all the things and information that you see? Who controls Google? Who controls the banks? Look at the very word itself, people. Jewelry. Do you know the original word for Jew meant, you know, precious people, or like, you know, the gems of the world? That's what they think they are. You got to wake up from this ridiculous brainwashing that they've done to all of you. They think they're special. They think they're better than you. And I'm sorry, but the average American is more of a human than these people. Because we Americans understand our rights. We don't think we're better than anyone, but we know our Constitution is best and better for the entire world to follow. It gives everybody sovereignty. It gives everybody rights. And that's the thing people forget. You know, all this ego and hubris for what? America has to start waking up to the obvious. That we've been under control for quite some time. And it's time to get rid of that control. Just like Thomas Jefferson said, the tree of liberty must be refreshed from time to time with the blood of patriots and tyrants. And the blood I'm also talking about, guys, is not obviously a sacrificial one. But it's a hard-working one. It's a persevering one. It's blood that boils when you get angry about what's going on. It's the ability to stand up and fight against all this garbage. That's what we have to understand. That's what Thomas Jefferson meant. And aside from that, 1776, whether it commences again or not, like Alex Jones says, then let it rain. Let it rain. Fox News is already trying to make every single Arabic citizen in this country look like a terrorist once more, just like they did during 9/11, and just like they did back in 2008 with the Boston bombing. So every single time there's a bombing, it just has to be Arabic people, right? Typical Jewish news. Typical Jewish jargon. Typical nonsense. Wake up from it, guys. And I don't care, you can unfollow me, or you can say, oh, he's anti-Semitic, but this is the obvious here. This is the obvious here. You need to wake up to the obvious. I'm sorry. Call things out as need be for once in your life and have a damn backbone. Because the amount of history that's been deleted from our archives, the amount of people that have not bothered to look up anything. Who's also in charge of the WEF and the WHO? Another Khazarian, another Ashkenazi. Anywhere you point to, who's in charge of the Assistant Secretary of Health? You know, I mean, all you got to do is look up their name. And everyone magically has secondary citizenships to Israel. I mean, doesn't that concern you? I don't have a secondary citizenship to Israel, do you? And since when is that considered American? There's nothing American about that. I consider them all nothing more than a bunch of turncoats. Because that's what we're dealing with, people. Turncoats. At every step of the way. And you need to remember this when you fight. Remind yourselves of what your forefathers went through. Especially if you have ancestry here. You know? If you're several generations into this country already, I'm sorry, but the American blood lives within you. And you got to realize what your ancestors went through to get here. And if this is the best that we can do as Americans, then we got more work to do here, because it's really up to us. I don't see any more young people fighting, do you? Nope. Just more of the status quo. More about being weak and not representing your country. Being passive. Staying silent. So I'm going to read another paragraph here from the Sons of Liberty Manifesto. Great read, by the way. And this is about propaganda. Well, I'm pretty sure we already know about this one. But listen closely as to what is said. You know, even for those that are just kind of tuning in. Propaganda teaches people what to think, not how to think. Because of this, proper education is far superior to propaganda, because once one is properly educated, they learn how to think, and therefore become less vulnerable to the effects of propaganda. It is for this reason that the state steers clear of a proper education for its serfs. Look what it just said. The state steers clear of a proper education for its serfs. So it's already rigged. We know this. The state relies on its institutions of propaganda to direct the masses. And how many of you have seen the propaganda for the Jewish people and the Holocaust? But nothing else was ever talked about. It was always about that. You had to take some type of a course where you had to do Holocaust studies, or it was mentioned in U.S. history. What does have that anything to do with U.S. history? That's not U.S. history. That's just people migrating here because they weren't welcomed in the countries that they tried to flee to. Nothing to do with American history. It's all propaganda. Unbelievable. So one might wonder why those who would seek to oppose the will of the state wouldn't employ the method of proper education so as to awaken the mindless automatons, I like that word, and instill within them an individual conscience. Although this is an effective tool for breaking individuals away from state mind control, it is a process that demands an immense effort and vast amounts of time. And even if this were attempted, it is no guarantee that a man once educated will not pursue his own passions that may be in conflict with ours, or worse yet, in alignment with our own enemy. But this is dishonest, they will say. I say, do not be so daft as to think that honesty is an unerring virtue, and certainly not a pragmatic tool. We each carry a part of the truth, but we do not possess the whole of it. What they would call the truth is only another attempt at propaganda. Truth in itself is no power at all. Truth must either attract power to its side, or else side with power, for otherwise it will perish again and again. For every day, guys, every waking moment, the masses are bombarded with the most sophisticated forms of propaganda. Our enemy has mastered this strategy. They developed the most advanced institutions and cultivated the most obedient and docile citizens. Long has the state used this weapon of propaganda against our cause. I would seize their cannons and turn them against their former masters. When concerned with popular support, we must also take into consideration those that may not align with our foundational ideas, yet possess the same will to resist the agencies that oppress them. There are many that find themselves on the fringes of society, under the heel of tyranny, and at the mercy of the majority. Harnessing their frustration and channeling it towards our cause allows for an ad hoc band of mercenaries to fight battles on multiple fronts. Piety and principle are all well and good for the armchair libertarian that never sets out to fight for his freedom, but for the warriors of our cause. Those who stand with everything to lose, there is no unwelcomed ally. Effective Resistance by Jack Donovan. It's time to quit worrying and learn to love the battle axe. History has shown that if we don't, someone else will. And that's exactly right. I enjoy talking about freedom every single day, whether it be to my close friends and constituents or co-workers or anyone that will lend me their ear. I always preach information. I always try to preach the truth. I always try to wake people up. This is my job, people, just like it's yours. So every single time you get out there, get at it. The more people we have on our side for this, the better. You know, and if people aren't willing to join, if they're not willing to pay attention, then they can screw off. Plain and simple. They've already bought the bullet. And just like the book says, there are nothing more than a bunch of docile sheep that do not care about their own rights, and they don't care about losing them. We, the people, have to finally come together, join or die. We have to join or die. Whether it be Democrat, Republican, it's time to stand up for yourselves and your sovereignty. What else are you willing to sacrifice now, you know? I mean, some of you are still jobless still to this day, and I give you a lot of credit because why? You still didn't get the vaccinations, and you still won't get hired at public places. So continue to fight. If that's what it takes, people, that's what Thomas Jefferson also meant by the blood of patriots and tyrants. You have to be willing to lose everything to fight against what's coming. You can't be scared. You can't be afraid. You can't make excuses. You can't hide behind anything anymore, because we don't have enough time. There's not enough time left for patriots to come together to fight this. Think about Lord of the Rings for a second, okay? And I'm a huge fan about fighting evil. Huge fan. Huge fan about fighting evil. And that's what we have to do. We got to be huge fans at fighting evil. What did Aragorn say at the end of the last movie, The Return of the King? He sees the army before him. The eye is capturing his gaze, trying to convince him to just relinquish his arms, relinquish his men, and sell his soul. Okay? And he turns around and looks at his men. And he says, "Stand, men of the West, for Frodo." Don't you remember? He didn't get distracted. He didn't sell his soul. That all-seeing eye that you guys see in the movie represents everything we're fighting now. It represents Klaus Schwab. It represents Anthony Fauci. It represents Obama. It represents Biden. It represents any other tyrannical, disgusting, inhumane group or doctrine or mandate. Anything that's meant to poison humanity and destroy us. That's what that eye represents. Now, what are you willing to do? Continue to be an armchair patriot or a keyboard warrior? Are you willing to go to your town hall? Are you willing to call out these ridiculous teachers in your school districts where all this woke education is going on? You know, you can go back as far as the 60s where you had old school classic libertarians. Even though as messed up in the brain as they were, they still got some stuff done. The masses went to Washington. They protested. They had staged sit-ins. They got things done. I mean, look at the Democrat left, for Christ's sake. They're trying to get this climate change garbage passed so that way they don't realize that they're enslaving us. But they're willing to go out and block roads. They're willing to go and march inside the Capitol building. And somehow magically they are treated that way, like they're welcome guests. So we got to get that same authority, that same power back to the people on the other side of the aisle here. Because I am tired of having people say, there's nothing we can do. The government's against us. Well, since when were they ever on our side to begin with, people? When were they ever on our side? Can you ask yourself that question? When was the last time they lowered taxes? When was the last time they lowered everything to the point where you know, even the playing field? When was the last time they were actually fair with their laws? When was there a time where they didn't try to kill us all? Obviously before the War of 1812 or America the Corporation. But before that, when was the last time that you know that the government has ever tried to help us out? What? With bailouts? For corporations only? Come on. That tax money has been paid and sought, you know, and sold and it has so much interest behind it that it's already in outer space. Come on. So this is what I need to say to all you here, you know? I'm getting tired of people wanting to fight with me over Israel and you know, Israel ran Hamas and Hezbollah. You got all the people fired up here, but they're nothing much more than a bunch of college kids. Do you really think they would have the audacity to come to my neighborhood? They don't believe in guns. They don't believe in anything. They're not willing to die for their cause. They're cowards. But you see, we the people, we're different. We could die for the cause. We could stand for the cause. Their cause is empty. Their cause will not do anything for them. Their cause has no cause. But we the people, the cause that our forefathers have always mentioned, time and time again in our Constitution, was the actual cause. The actual cause of liberty. The actual rallying for patriotism. The actual desire to be free. You think any of these PLO assholes know what that is? They say, let my people go. From the river to the sea, we'll be free. But what do you mean by free? What do you mean by free? Because let's just say we go in there and we take down Hamas, which is magically going to be told to stand down by Israeli insurgents in our government. Hey guys, great job. You did a great job doing terror. Now we need you to go back to sleep. Because that's what they are. Don't you see that by now? That's what these morons do. They're paid off to cause distraction. I don't care how people put it. Look at the Boston bombings real quick. That was like another 9/11 for us almost, You had these two indoctrinated college kids, and they made pipe bombs, but if you take a look, and pressure cooker bombs, but if you take a look at the older brother, he had direct links to these terror groups. But if you look at who told him to do what, I can guarantee you, I can promise you, it was either an Israeli or an American government official insurgent. They caused these wars. So, if they cause these wars, then what are you really standing for? Stand for freedom. Stand for our country. Stop being a bunch of pussycats. And get things done. Now, if you don't know how to get things done, then get in contact with people like myself. Or you can look up the Constitutional Law Group. Or you can start establishing rallies in your town. Anything. Anything to help wake up right now. Because although we are at war, we are still at a peaceful time to express our rights. Because once we really are officially at war, there will not be a protest. There will not be affidavits to sign. There won't be any type of government papers to fight against. It'll just be us against them. Us against their army, their mercenaries, their United Nations. This is what we're really going to have to face in the years to come. So it's either everyone gets off their high horse and learns how to be humble, otherwise they will be humbled. And we have to learn how to stick together and be on the same page with our cause. If the cause truly is for liberty, then stop supporting other nations. If the cause is for liberty, then start going around and trying to wake people up. If the cause is for liberty, then start expressing your rights before you don't have any. That's what we have to understand here. And until that time, guys, I don't know what else to tell you. Because there isn't a lot of men left. In this world, you have people and members of the military. You have certain patriots in certain groups, but this is all we have. And until the masses start getting their act straight and actually learn how to stand up for their country, then we're not going to have one. And like I said to you guys before, I really appreciate the support. We have apparel, we have merchandise, anything to help. You visit our website, therelentlesspatriots.com. Got a lot of cool stuff. You wear it, including hats and whatnot. Working on a new vendor, too, for that, because my old vendor decided to not make patches anymore, which stinks. But anything to support. Because most of the money that you see, that you donate to, doesn't really go to anything. You see, where I go and what I do is a little different than Alex Jones. I actually try to get lawyers involved. I actually try to push and press. I actually do show up at the rallies that count. You know, and all of you are obviously welcome to join me. I don't care. I'm in. I'm 110% devoted to my country and to my countrymen. So that's what you need to do too, then do it. And I will not tell you not to do anything else otherwise, because like it or not, guys, this entire ordeal is up to us. It really is. So make a choice. Make a choice, because the next choice should be better than this one. I really think we lost our shot January 6th, but it doesn't mean we shouldn't go back. And the next time we go back, we shouldn't be so friendly about it, because we should stop being nice to people who aren't nice back. Wasn't that one of the most basic things that you learned? Treat someone how you want to be treated. Well, let's see. We pay our taxes. We try to be law-abiding citizens. We try to do things the right way in Congress. We vote. We try to do everything to be nice, good patriots that aren't going to stir the pot that much. And look how we're treated. Look what they've done to us. Look at what they've done to our children. Brainwashed them. And our tax money continues to fund that operation. The original operation, by the way, which did all this, was called Operation or Project Sunshine. If you don't know what that is, if you go to Google and type it in, you'll see everything that is currently happening because of that operation. Designed by liberals and losers and Looney Tunes as far back as early as 2006. That's how long they've been doing this for. And that's just one particular operation to destroy our children's mindsets. You know, now they want everyone to hate trees and love solar panels, to hate farms and actually love solar panel farms. What is wrong with us? Why are we letting this happen still? Why are we letting these school systems get away with it? It's time for people to start acting the way our forefathers were acting. Back when it was just over tea and basic rights. Which is the funny part, people. This is the funniest, revolution that I've ever seen. We should have had one years ago. To be quite frank with all of you. So make a choice here. Would you like New World Order 24/7? Would you like Agenda 2030 to actually happen? You want to live in a 15-minute smart city? Be my guest. But I'm not. I'd rather live free than die on my knees. And so should you. So should you. So I want to thank you guys for tuning in today. And until next time, stay relentless.